Tens of thousands of Leaving Certificate students have been receiving their examination results. Offers of third-level places will be made to students through the Central Applications Office next week.
I'll never forget the morning she got her results. Trish kept saying to me, Mom, I'm a bit nervous about my leaving. And I said, why, love? She said, how do you think I did? Do you think I got any A's? And I said, as far as I'm concerned, you got 10 A's, even though you just did 3 subjects. You did really well. And she said, are you sure? And I said, yes, I'm sure. I said, we're very proud of what you've done. As we pulled in, we saw a whole lot of other cars and girls with their moms there, and some of them were running around, and everybody seemed in great form. I was getting out of the car, and I was just going round to get her chair out of the back of the car, and out she comes with, well, here's the moment of truth. And I thought, oh my God, where does she come out of these gems? So I took her across and we went in.
Don't be nervous, Pet. Look, just pull it.
She didn't want me to be there, but I, being the nosy mum, I had to be there behind. And she was opening the envelope, and she said, oh, my hands are shaking.
Come on. A1. A1. B3.
I think she said, I got an A, and I remember thinking, no way she got an A. And I looked, and I said, God, she got an A. And she was just over the moon. She was so delighted. But it was just such an incredible day. What a high, such a high. I think it was more of a high than any other high we've had with any of our other children's results. What an achievement.
What results did you get? Tell me your results.
Okay, A1 in history, C1 in English, and a B3 in arts.
Wow.
I know.
You must be very brainy.
Oh, very brainy.
When Trish Carney was born in November 1985, she was diagnosed with Down syndrome and severe heart and bowel problems which required emergency surgery. During the first 5 years of her life, she received special needs education at Dunmore House in Dunleary.
I remember thinking, gosh, Trish is never going to develop, listening to some of the mums that, they were told that our children wouldn't develop beyond the age of 9, and now you're talking, that's 19 years ago, and not to kind of have our hopes raised. And I remember coming home Tuesday after Tuesday feeling, no, it's not going to be like that. Can't think like that,
Pat and Des wanted Trish to have the same opportunities as her siblings and enrolled her in the junior school of St. Joseph of Cluny in 1994.
We got her into Cluny up with Sister Claire, my saint. I remember going up for the interview and she wasn't sure. She said, no, I need to let the other parents know. And I came home thinking, gosh, I wonder does she have to let the other parents know if it's somebody from outside the country? And I was no sooner home, really, and the phone rang and she said, I shouldn't have said that to you. Of course she's coming here. And sure, she just went from strength to strength up there, even though from strength to strength, kind of academically, but health-wise she actually didn't. Her health wasn't great in the first year especially. That was the beginning of her bad health, the first 2 years, I think, up there.
You can sit down now. Okay. Have a hard day, okay? There you go. Nice hug.
The thing I love most about my dad is he's always there for me to all the times when I was sick and all of that drama going on. When my dad's a professor, a doctor, I asked for cancer. He works in a private hospital looking at the sick patients mostly. He has all these boring hospital meetings and so on, other work he does.
Well, there's been 2 major issues. She was born obviously with a cardiac problem. So as a consequence, her oxygen levels are very low. And that means her exercise tolerance and her ability to basically walk around like anyone else is severely compromised. And unfortunately, that is a progressive problem that can't be corrected.
This is for you.
Her major other problem was, though, she had a bowel operation the day after she was born, and that seemed really good and clear. And then in 1994 had a major bleed from her bowel, needed emergency surgery. And then from 1998 to 2005 has repeated major bleeding episodes from her bowel. they've caused major crisis because they happen without warning. We're very good at anticipating the sign, and it could be anything like what appears to be a fainting spell for Trish. And we know within hours this bleeding is going to be massive. Now, we've been very fortunate. The bleeding hasn't occurred in any major way for 3 years.
Cheers.
Probably, which is just as well, because at this time point her cardiac status probably wouldn't stand up to any major surgery.
Didn't come out freshly up.
It means that one of us has to be available pretty much 24 hours a day. So for Pat, it's been a full-time, I wouldn't call it job, probably a job of love, but to be always within 5 minutes of where Trish is. So if Trish is in the school, Pat will be always around here. And then I do some of my work from home, so it means I'm around if Trish is here and Pat can be out. Her siblings are great because anytime we want to get out, they will come over and say, we can't get out unless it's one of them. That's not a moan, that's not a complaint. That's just the way life is.
Trish had thrived at the junior school despite her increasing health problems. She had made plenty of friends and was doing very well academically as she started in secondary level in 2000.
I did a little bit of research really in terms of the resource hours that might be made available to us, because other secondary schools had taken students with Down syndrome very successfully. So I made contact with the department and we received a number of resource hours for her in her first year. At that stage, Trish was walking. By second year, though, she was in a wheelchair. So we then applied for a special needs assistant, and Karen Keenahan came on board.
She's been quite ill, hasn't she, on and off?
Yeah, she has, and I know there were periods when she was, very well. Just before her junior cert, in fact, that Christmas, she'd been very, very unwell. But she bounces back. She's so determined, and she's such strength and determination. And there were times certainly on one-to-one where you could see certainly that while she had the ability, her energy levels, she would be very, very tired, and you'd say, okay, Trish, we'll take a break, and, she might put her head down, and then, we won't do any more. Oh, no, I'm fine now, I'll continue, and she'd be really keen to get on with it. She doesn't give up, she really doesn't, and I think that probably, helps her through all the illnesses, and I know certainly last summer, the same, she hadn't been well, but she missed very little school. She sticks with it.
The whole staff, they were just so supportive, and even in the choir, she was in the choir, and I'd say just keep the mic away from her, because she knew the words of every single, if it was the carol service, she knew all the carols. If it was anything else, she knew all the words. And I just used to say, keep the mic away from her. God, she'll hear this, won't she?
Yeah, I think so.
And was it interesting though?
Very interesting. Thank you.
Thank you. And then come here, are you ignoring me?
The decision to sit 3 subjects in the Leaving Certificate would require a big commitment from both Trish and her mother.
Oh, yes.
From Clooney were there. Did you meet them? Every night there was history homework to be done, and Trish would come home from school and it might be 4 o'clock, and she'd come in the door and she'd say, every day it was the same thing, I can't wait for my peanut butter and toast. So she had her peanut butter and toast and went over to the television room, turned on the Bill, which was her favourite television show, and then I'd have to go in and cajole her and say, we've history homework to do, Trish. I'm not doing it. And I said, no, we have to do it. And she'd tell me that we're doing this for 10 minutes, that's all. And I said, no, this is leaving year. You have to do an hour and a half max, or minimum even. And then Des would walk in and I'd say, sorry, I can't talk to you. Or Anne-Marie would arrive over the kids and I'd say, sorry, you'll have to go somewhere else. I felt I did an awful lot of sorries this year to people. I can't do this or I can't do that. We're doing our leaving.
And you have Down syndrome as well?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
What's that?
I just say when people stare at me, if little kids, I just say people staring at me, saying, what's wrong with that girl? I wouldn't respond back.
Does that ever happen?
It does sometimes when I go outside the house, shopping centre, restaurants, everywhere.
And people stare at you?
Yeah, I just hate that it's so horrible,
I've often said, Trish, do you think you're any different from anybody else? No. She got quite a bit of publicity after her Leaving Certificate, and she was thrilled with it, but one of the papers, I think it was a Cork paper, had written down, I think it was girl with Down syndrome, and she said, why do they keep putting those 2 words down, Mum? And I said, what 2 words, Trish? Those 2 words, pointing to Down syndrome. And I said, do you not think you have Down syndrome? And she said, I only have a little bit of it. And I said, what about any of your friends? Do you think you're different from them? No. I mean, she thinks she's beautiful. She just has this incredible self-confidence, and she is beautiful.
In spite of all her illness and her ill health, I think I only saw her depressed once in her whole life. She had a tube up her nose and she thought everybody was looking at her. So she wouldn't leave the house. She said, I'm ugly and they're all looking at me. And she would cover her face with her hand. And one Saturday morning I took it out and she said, I'm free. And she was happy again. That's the only time I've ever seen her depressed. I mean, she can be very funny. She was waiting for surgery in Crumlin and she wasn't allowed to eat. And she wrote this great letter to her surgeon saying, all I want to do is eat. All I want is my slice of pizza. Please let me have my slice of pizza. He was very funny about it, and about a week later after her surgery, she finally had her slice of pizza. So she's been good.
Do you eat anything except pizza?
I eat pizza, garlic breads, peanut toast for breakfast and lunch. Hula hoops, of course. Pizza and garlic bread again for dinner.
Like the day of the Leaving Cert results, Jess and Sheena organised a pizza party in the house at lunchtime because they were all going off to Ayanapa the next day, and they were all going out that night, and they knew Trish wouldn't be able to do it because that's just the way it's been. And they wanted her to be able to celebrate with them as well.
Well, I would always say that, there was Trish's story, but there was also Jess's story. There was an extraordinary bond between those 2 girls, and that was manifested daily. Jess would look after her lunch and her break every time, and there was an extraordinary affection between the 2 of them. Jess went on to become our head girl. She's an extremely patient and sensitive youngster, but they have a great bond.
Like when I started in the secondary school, I was kind of afraid because we'd been friends all the way through the junior school. And then when we went into the secondary school, I was kind of afraid that it'd be seen kind of not as much of a friendship, more of like a care.
Silver or black?
Silver.
And like I think from the teacher's point of view at the beginning it kind of was, but now like it is a friendship, and kind of took a bit for other people to recognise it as that. But like we have a great friendship. We do all girly things. We would go shopping, have lunch together, like have a chat on the phone and text and that kind of stuff. Like that's what it is. Like it's typical friendship really. She's glamorous, and she's a real girly girl. She loves pink and sparkles and anything else girly. But the word that would most stick out is caring. She's just a really caring person.
So that's not so expensive at all.
She's really affectionate as well. Like she has a great way about her of knowing if someone's feeling upset or they're not feeling themselves, and like the power of her hugs or her kisses, it's amazing. She's really, really caring.
Hey, Trish.
Hey.
You all ready?
Yes.
Have you got some drawings ready for me? Yeah?
Of course, then I got those.
She's making her debs on the 26th of October, and she's obviously going with all the other girls. She's talking about a limo, and she's designing her dress herself. I still haven't seen what the design's like. God only knows what it's like, and she's very definite in the colour. It's got to be some sort of a pink silk.
Simple shape. We can decide the length when we've made it properly.
It's going to be a silver material, dark pink. And maybe with a shawl and necklace here and a bracelet here and maybe a flash face, but I don't do high heels. And maybe I leave my hair down. That's just have that sexy look on me. Be nice. That's before.
She's so excited. Trish's thing about planning things months in advance. Like she'll plan her birthday months in advance, and it'll be in the summer and her birthday's not till November, and Trish will still want to know exactly how many people are coming, where it's been held and that kind of stuff. Yeah, no, Trish is really excited about it.
Okay. Try it on and see how it is, and then we can start it.
Okay.
It's going to be lovely.
Fantastic.
Who are you going to your debs with?
With Larry, one of my brother Disney's best friends.
Is he your boyfriend?
No, God, no, you must be joking.
Sorry.
You're joking.
Murray is taking her and Ian's going to be in the background. That's what she says. Ian will be in the background. So that's, and if they come down the stairs, I think Ian might be taking her down the stairs. I think she'll have to be carried down. And he's tall, he'll be able to carry her.
A few smaller ones in around the top so she gets a really good shape in it.
She'll probably last, she'll be a bit like Cinderella, and that'll last, if she lasts that long till midnight. And that'll be enough for Trish. She'll be so happy just to be part of it, to have made her debs with her friends. It'll be like her dream come true. You know, I think it's very special. Isn't it, do you know this is like getting a bride ready for their marriage?
That's what I said to her. Trisha, romantically, she has her own level of femininity and sexuality in herself, but it doesn't go beyond a certain line. But a lot of it's in her head, and it's beautiful. And for example, her idea of a perfect date is going out for a nice meal, and he'll bring her flowers, and he'll wear a suit, and he'll drop her home, and he might kiss her hand or give her a peck in the cheek, and it's just Barbie dreamboat stuff, you know.
Sometimes she gets frustrated, like if she doesn't get what's going on in the conversation, or you know, if we're talking about going out at night, like if we're talking about going to a club, things like that, and talking about boys and that kind of thing, you know, like that Trish wouldn't have experienced as much as we have. I think she gets frustrated and with things like that.
But it must be hard.
Yeah, like we experience more things. We're in different situations, like than Trish would be. So sometimes it's hard for her to relate to what we're talking about.
I think her sexuality is difficult for her. Obviously, there's a degree of frustration there, and I'm not sure how one can deal with it or overcome it. At school, she's the agony aunt for all her friends. So when they come in, they discuss their ups and downs of their boyfriends, and Tricia solves their problems for her. I don't know if she'll ever have a true boyfriend. I don't know. I don't see Trish ever living independent. I think her cardiac status is such that whether she likes it or not, her parents will always be where she is. Our home isn't ideal for the situation that it is now. Big old house, 3 stories, and we're all living down on the bottom level. But it works perfect, so nobody really cares.
Oh, nice one.
Tell me, I want you to tell me all about your mum and what kind of a person she is.
Well, she's wonderful and spiritual, very athletic. She used to play tennis, actually. She's very good at tennis and golf.
Oh, you cheapest. Yes! Yes!
Bright, beautiful, intelligent, and all these wonderful things about her.
What does she look like?
Pretty, gorgeous, sexy, hot, and everything else.
I class the relationship as such that the umbilical cord was never cut. So they've been bonded together from birth. They've almost like an innate sense of each other. I don't think Trish would have achieved any of her potential without the efforts of her mother. And I really mean that. I like to get up and go to work. And maybe that's what I'm meant to be good at. But Pat's devoted her whole life to Trish. And no sacrifice is too much. You know, to say you can't go on a holiday, you can't go here or there. It's totally irrelevant when it comes to Trish.
They have a fantastic partnership. It's how I would put Mom and Trisha. It's mother and daughter, but it's also a partnership. They've really had to work their lives around each other. Obviously, huge amount of love there, and Mom has sacrificed like you wouldn't believe. You know, she really has. She's an incredible woman. It'll be cold though coming up to your deb, so you're going to have something nice around your shoulders.
I hope it doesn't rain now.
I think the fact that Trisha was the youngest of 5 children, had so much hustle and bustle going on, had so much language around her, had people speaking to her at all levels, that really, really brought her on. It was fantastic. She was the focus of the family. She's actually kept us close as a family. You know, we all live pretty much a stone's throw away, you know. We'd all still go around for a weekly meal and would hang out and pop in and out. So we're very close as a family, I think, because of Trish.
I suppose over the last number of years, our holidays have been all special together because there's been the 3 of us. Trish's phrase is Mammy, Daddy and Trish, the happy couple. And that has never changed. We're regarded as the happy couple because particularly on holidays now, Trish has no longer, for the last 4 years, been able to fly out of the country. So holidays have always been at home, either down in Wexford or Kinsale. And certainly in Kinsale, everybody knows her, so she's like one of their local stars. So we're constantly together, and down in Kinsale, it's a great time together. We do everything together as a happy couple, the three of us.
Thank you.
This is like handing my daughter over to a groom or something, handing you over. Bye, love.
Best of luck to you today. She did very well on the Leaving Cert, and she's now starting college.
Yeah, starting on Friday morning. It's going to be a whole different ball game, because I think the reality of it all has finally sunk in that, you know, Clooney is behind her now, and that was such a cocoon for 13 years of her life. She was totally cocooned. And she was the bee's knees, and now she's just one more small cog in a big wheel. It's going to be hard for me too, because I won't be kind of able to hop in and out like I did in Clooney, and I was part of the furniture up there.
Morning. Good morning.
It's called Certificate in Print Journalism, and it's there are, I think, 9 modules. They're going to break it up for her a bit, so that she won't be overtired. This year she's going to do word processing, I think, word writing skills. One is photography, as Trish calls it, photography. She just can't get her head around that word, so she's doing photography as well.
I think it'll be good for her because it's new experiences. They're all new experiences, and I think it's really good for her. She needs a lot more independence. Like, she might find it hard again, but it's like going into secondary school. Like, it's a change, but it's good change, and she'll definitely get her independence and be able to meet new people, and like, she'll have to, but I think she'll like it. I think it'll be good for her.
I just want to welcome you to photography.
I'm a wee bit apprehensive about college life for her too, because I've never seen any of these people who are going to be in college with her, and wondering how it'll be like for her at break time. Will she be left on her own, and how will she be then? And I think that's making her sad, wouldn't be really the right word, making her a little bit wary, I guess. But I think if she thought she wouldn't see her friends again, that would be the hardest thing of all for Trish. That would make her saddest of all.
It's impossible not to relate to Trish, in the sense that you witness somebody who is overcoming difficulties.
Murray, that'll get you nowhere, okay?
And how can any of us not relate to that? We wanted her to succeed because there's something within Trish that's a part of all of us. You know, the having to overcome obstacles, that desire to be accepted, that sense of wanting to protect her so that she didn't feel like she was an outsider. There's something in her story that relates to all our stories, and I think that's why she brought out the best in all of us, teachers, parents, students, and why there's this enormous bond of affection for her, because we see something in her that we can relate to in ourselves.
I don't think I'd be the person I am today if I hadn't had the experiences with Trish all along. And that's true to say about anyone in our year. I think whether they were close friends with her or whether they just knew her, you know, from class to class, but I think I'm more open-minded and I'm more caring from my experiences with her and from my friendship with her. Yeah, just a better person from it all, probably.
I say this, and I don't mean it as any sort of a cliche. I wouldn't change one day of my life with Trish or with the family, because she's opened doors to me that I wouldn't probably have even tried to enter before.
I don't think Trish appreciates the real significance of doing so well in her junior cert or leaving cert. But for Pat, it's been a major high. And you know, one day it'll all change, but I hope we can look back on these days and say they were great days.
She has been just so enlightening, so loving, her unconditional love has just been phenomenal. And I don't know what life will ever be like if there wasn't a Patricia here. I can't imagine life without Patricia now. She's just great.